Coach, what did Drake do that got him that 20-point lead? I mean, that's about as good as they played in the last few weeks, but what did you see of it?
Yeah, they played very well tonight, but I also think they've played well of late. They were up double figures most of the game against Loyola. They played Indiana State down to the end. I believe the other game in their last three, unless I'm mistaken, was a close game at Missouri State. Was a hard-fought game, and they were in that game. So, it isn't that when we watched them on film, we felt like they were playing poorly or they didn't have a chance of playing well tonight. And then they came out and did it. I think they were aggressive, and Berkeley stepped up and made some threes early in the game. And he isn't a guy that shot as many threes as the other guys have, and he just stepped up and made some early. I think that helped get him going. I didn't like our defense at times. I didn't think we defended the ball screen well enough, and they hurt us on that with some things. But they played very well. They really had a good game.
Offensively, it didn't seem like you guys had really any openings that first 35 minutes. South didn't score for the first 15 minutes of the game. And where do you go from there? How do you address that? And what was the breakdown?
Yeah, I think that one's a complete team. And when I say that, Carson, from me all the way down, coaching staff, guys that played, guys that practiced, I mean everybody. From an offensive standpoint, I did not have our guys going at a speed we needed to in the first half. I felt like we stood around some, and it wasn't. That isn't on the guys as much as it is on me. I liked what we had planned. I liked what our thoughts were, but by the way we played in that first 10 minutes at the offensive end, it's very obvious I did not have the guys ready to go offensively, and that's on me. We've been, as you know, we've been very good offensively, very good, and so our offensive performance in the first half's on me. I did not have them moving fast enough and with enough pace. I didn't have them screening hard enough. That's on me.
So where do you go from here to get those things going?
Yeah, we turn now, and our next one is against a completely different type of team, right? It's going to be zoned for 40 minutes with Illinois State, so we're going to have to go really to that film and see some of the things we did in that game, Carson. I think that's because we go to a completely different style. There's some things in this game that we've got to take a look at. There's some plays I know that our guys are going to see on film defensively with a couple things, our lack of support on the ball screen, and just some plays that we made in our last two basketball games defensively. I mean, we were in a handful of plays, or maybe more than that, Carson, we were a shell of what we were defensively in the last two games. And that part's disappointing. And Drake played well because they came out and earned it. But we didn't do a lot to stop him at some key times or in some ball screen situations. And that part I didn't care for, that part.
Yeah, and Van Dees, not much of a mover, but kind of use that to his advantage. Solid in the paint. How much did he cause problems just being a big body in there?
Yeah, Van Dees and then the big freshman, the backup center. Both those guys are big enough where it's hard for us and watching on film some other teams as well to play them one-on-one. And they're surrounded most of the time. They're surrounded by three shooters and sometimes a four shooter. So you got to kind of pick where you're going. And it seemed like when we doubled, we were a little bit late. When we got there on time, they made a good pass and they moved it and made a three. That first 7-8 minutes, they took advantage of our attempt to get the ball out of their hands. Van Deest and the backup, the big freshman. We didn't do that well enough.
Is everything all right with Dion? He just the past few games, I guess he doesn't seem like himself. He played well past our last 5 minutes tonight, but it looks like he's a little bit slower or anything going on.
No, he's obviously there's no question it's an adjustment to go from starting to coming off the bench, and I think that's what he's working through is that adjustment, and with that move, we also haven't played until tonight because I thought it would help with some of the offensive stuff when we were sluggish. Deon and Wes haven't been on the floor like they have all year long, so that's a little bit of an adjustment for him. We're running a few more set plays, so there's some things that he's adjusting to, and one of them being coming off the bench as opposed to being in the starting lineup, and that each guy handles that a little bit different, and so I think he's just working through that right now. I liked, he gave us a little bit of, he was quicker tonight, I felt, than he was in the last two games. I thought he got to some spots tonight, and obviously late he was really good. But I think he's going to be, fine. He's going to be important down the stretch and all that.
What about Seth Tuttle, where he's kind of put the team on his back the past couple games? What have you seen from him?
Yeah, he's been really good. Tonight I didn't think he was as tough as he needed to be, especially in the first half. There was more contact, and the game was a little bit more physical. And I didn't feel like he responded to that well enough tonight in the first half. Thought we got moved around a little bit. Now, outside of that, the run he's on this last 11, 12 games has been terrific. He has been, he's done a great job of he makes the other team defend the low block, and he's passed the ball well. So that he is a really hard matchup right now because of how well he's played.
Thanks, Jake.